You looked outside Atlanta lately and seen all these buildings. So you mean to tell me that China is under us? China is under us.
If you keep they are under us. That's what they tell you when you're a kid.
The world is flat.
If you dug straight through your backyard, you could get to China.
No, you can't.
The world is not flat.
Yes, it is.
We've seen the Earth.
No, we haven't seen anything.
Yes, you have. You've seen it from satellite imagery.
A lot of stuff.
Satellite imagery that
and I'll be honest with you.
So tell me, Neil, is the Earth flat?
We have video from space. Not a sphere, it's a little bit flattened. You can ask what flattened it, and you find out, oh, it's rotating real fast.
Right.
So then it gets a little flattened because of that.
Right.
And so almost everything in the universe is either spheres or slight distortions of a sphere for some other thing that's happening to it. I mean, we can just see how the universe favors spheres.
So it's nature.
Right.
Basically,
nature.
the universe.
Now, in all fairness to the people who want a flat Earth.
Yes, let's be fair to those people.
Okay. In Columbus's day, there was surely a flat Earth contingent. Okay?
Yes.
Columbus predates the era of experimental checking of any idea you might have.
Now,
there could be something fooling you in one way or another. So if you want to say Earth is flat, then, for example, lunar eclipses. What's a lunar eclipse? If your face is the brilliant sun.
Thank you.
And this is Earth, and the moon is over here. The sun is always casting Earth's shadow into space. It's always there no matter what.
Right.
Obviously, okay? It's just a shadow.
It's a shadow.
The moon
It's just a
occasionally...
shadow shining on blackness.
Yeah, a shadow in darkness.
A shadow in darkness.
So the moon occasionally passes through that shadow. And if you see the shape of Earth's shadow on the moon, it is always round. Always round. If Earth were flat, sometimes you get like a flat shadow.
Right.
We've never seen a flat shadow.
Right.
In fact, it is a segment of a arc of a circle, no matter the orientation of the moon and the sun. So the only thing that makes a perfect circle shadow every single time is a perfect sphere.
Right.
Okay? No matter what angle
No matter
you
what
shot. Whereas a disc, it would only make a perfect circle if you lined it that way.
Right.
And then
you have to look at the face of the disc in order to get the circle.
If
any other angle,
you get
other something of
The Greeks knew this. Is lit all the way to the bottom. Turns out with just 2 wells, there's enough wiggle room for both explanations to fit our observations. Eratosthenes only had 2 wells. But what if he had added a third? With a third well, it doesn't matter where the sun is. No flat Earth model can explain the angles of all 3 shadows. But the spherical model explains it all 3 angles, with ease. And to do this experiment, you gotta measure the angles. Greeks had the angles.
Yeah.
Okay, in fact, geometry translates to Earth measurement. The one last thing, which should be obvious, if you pay attention and think about it. If you send a ship straight to the horizon, eventually it begins to disappear until it's no longer visible beyond your horizon.
Right.
And you should ask yourself, what kind of surface would produce that result?
The ocean,
if it's
the ocean has a ramp.
Being very flat. Being very flat.
Hooks up flattery like a
Let them know.
Not made of special stuff. Special stuff. Special stuff. Special stuff. Special stuff. Special stuff.
Haha, mean.
It all sounded like a very poor, but we didn't even think of that. Of course, there's a slight chance that John did that.
Ed White. Things weren't different then, were they? The planet was moving at the same speed. The spacecraft and Ed White were moving at the same speed, 7,500 miles per hour. So let's go back and compare what we see nearly 50 years ago. Here we go. Ed White, first man to walk in space. Have a look at that planet moving behind him. It is flying.
It's flying at 17,000 miles per hour, 200 miles above the Earth.
There you go. Same speed, 7,500 miles per hour, 200 miles above Earth, just like the space station.
As White floats in space.
Have a look at the movement here. It is incredible. All you NASA tarts.
Getting out and about today, there's something you might want to know. House Bill 1927, one of the 666 new laws passed during the 87th Texas legislature. There are 666 of them, but we will have more in-depth information on these new laws on our website. You can visit and check that out at CW39.com. Reporting live, Sydney Simone, CW39 Houston. No wait, weather and traffic.
666 new laws take effect today here in Texas.
Also developing tonight, new laws are coming to the state of Texas, 666 to be exact. Now, these new policies range from handguns, medical care, and curriculum changes.
There is a lot to wade through. 12 News reporter Amelia White is giving us a look at the laws that everybody really is focusing on. Amelia?
Jordan Dage, there are so many new laws coming out of this legislative session that will go into effect on Wednesday. Tonight, I spoke with 3 political leaders on how they'll impact Texans.
Debated, passed, and signed, 666 new bills will become law on September 1st.
This is a higher number than usual.
One that can see.
Earth is flat, flat, flat.
There's what true
spaceship teaches, I guess, told me like crazy things, like because he'd said like I didn't really think this would work. They do simulation. And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly. Like, we'd have way better CGI if it was fake. That so we can make the BFR design work. Yeah, it's. I mean, I've tremendous confidence. So. I mean, it's kind of silly and fun, but I think that's, you know, silly, fun things are important.
Numerology skills. Anti-evolution flyers.
Numerology skills.
Anti-evolution flyers.
Evolution is under attack in our schools?
I don't understand evolution, and I had to protect my kids from understanding it.
As a professor of science, I assure you that we did in fact evolve from filthy monkey men.
I'm a flying spaghetti monster. You seriously believe I'm descended from some kind of flightless manicotti?
actors were high messages. You take those early actors, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Frank Sinatra.
Is that true?
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. But the problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a paper process to go back.
Is that true?
Closed system. We cannot leave the Earth. There's no place to go. The Earth is a closed system. You don't see the curvature of the Earth. The Earth is a closed system.
Is that true?
That stuff is flat.
Is that true?
What?
The Earth is flat.
And now, to move along, taking a look at the actual footage, and I always talk about having good discernment, okay? Good discernment is rare these days. This is not real.
Sherrod, Apollo 7. Bean. Gordon, Apollo 12. We had more to conquer than space. I had a runny nose. And I had a stuffy head. We used Actifed. How do you conquer cold symptoms? Actifed.
He make those statements, but what we've done in less than 2 years, no president or administration in its first 2 years has done anywhere near what this administration has done. And they know it. And they know it. Everything we have created and achieved is at stake on election day. It is. If the radical Democrats take power, they will take a wrecking ball to our economy and to our future. A wrecking ball. When you enter the voting booth on Tuesday, you will be making a simple choice. A vote for Republicans is a vote to continue our extraordinary prosperity, our extraordinary journey together. It's a journey that we made together, not me, all of us together. A vote for Democrats is a vote to bring this economic boom crashing to a sudden halt. The Democrat agenda is a socialist nightmare for our country. The Republican agenda is the American dream, and that's what we're doing. We're bringing back the American dream.
Is that more physically taxing?
The North Pole and South Pole, the northernmost point on Earth and the southernmost point on Earth, on opposite ends of the globe.
The board is seriously considering shutting you down. Outsourcing an entirely new operation based at, and I know this is going to be tough for you to hear, based at the South Pole.
Oh. Both kind of get one really long day each year, with 6 months of daylight followed by 6 months of night. So only one sunrise and sunset a year, yo. This is due to the Earth being tilted on its axis. The axis of the Earth is almost always pointing in the same direction in space. However, relative to the sun, the tilt direction changes as the Earth orbits it. Each pole tilts towards the sun for half the year and then away from the sun for the other half of the year. Anyway, this is also why it gets very, very, very freaking cold at both places. However, it gets much, much colder at the South Pole. The lowest temperature ever recorded at the South Pole was negative 82.8 degrees Celsius or negative 117 degrees Fahrenheit, whereas the lowest temperature ever recorded at the North Pole was negative 50 degrees Celsius or negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the lowest temperature ever directly recorded at ground level on Earth was negative 89.2 degrees Celsius or negative 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and that was at the Vostok Station in Antarctica, which is about 798 miles or 1,284 kilometers from the South Pole. Now, the highest temperature ever recorded at the South Pole was only negative 12.3 degrees Celsius or 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Yep, it never gets anywhere close to above freezing there. The North Pole, on the other hand, once recorded a temperature of 13 degrees Celsius or 55 degrees Fahrenheit. This is why some wildlife has been spotted near the North Pole, but basically only a rare type of bacteria has ever been actively observed at the South Pole, although that has been disputed. Even animals like polar bears and Arctic foxes have been known to wander near the North Pole, and one animal, a type of sea anemone, apparently lives in the water at and around the North Pole. Craziness. This is what the North Pole actually looks like. Yeah, those are people running at the North Pole. There's a North Pole Marathon apparently, but the North Pole is in the middle of the ocean. And because in recent years it's been getting warmer and warmer up there in the summer, the ice has been melting and you see little areas of just water. Most of the time, however, the ice at the North Pole is around 2 to 3 meters or 6 to 10 feet thick. The depth of the ocean at the North Pole is more than 4,000 meters or 13,123 feet. The South Pole is in the middle of a giant continent, the aforementioned Antarctica. Hey, I'm starting a country there, by the way. Check out this video for more details. But yeah, because the South Pole is on land and sits on a very thick blanket of ice, it's at a much higher elevation, 2,835 meters or 9,300 feet above sea level. In fact, a few years ago, Buzz Aldrin, yes, the Buzz Aldrin who walked on the moon, had to evacuate the South Pole due to altitude sickness. The North Pole is at sea level because it's, at sea. That's also why it gets warmer there. So who controls the North Pole and South Pole? Well, certainly not this guy. But before I answer that question, this video is sponsored by CuriosityStream, a wonderful streaming service that features nothing but top-notch educational content. CuriosityStream has thousands of streamable documentaries and non-fiction award-winning exclusive TV shows on topics like history, nature, science, food, technology, travel, and more, with more than 35 collections of curated programs handpicked by their experts. I recommend starting with the documentary Antarctica, A Year on Ice. Try it out by visiting the link on the screen and in the description of this video. And for a limited time only, use code MrBeat to sign up and get it for just $12 for the whole year. That's 40% off the original price, buddy. Thanks to CuriosityStream for sponsoring this video. Okay, so both poles are not controlled by any one country. The North Pole is on international waters, and the South Pole is open to any country for scientific purposes as established by the Antarctic Treaty System. The South Pole has a permanent scientific research station there called the Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station, named for the two folks who raced to be the first humans to ever make it to that location, Roald Amundsen and Robert Scott. The station is permanently inhabited. Yep, even in the very cold, very dark winters, around 45 to 50 people live there. For the logistics of working and living at the Amundsen-Scott Station, I highly recommend checking out the Wendover Productions video about it. But yeah, folks conduct many important scientific experiments there. But hey, scientists research the North Pole too. Because of the North Pole being over water, they send out manned drifting research stations. Russia sends one out almost every year, calling them NP stations. Hey, you were thinking in your head just now correctly. The NP stands for North Pole. In recent years, the United States has put up webcams at the North Pole, so that's groovy. Both the North Pole and South Pole are basically deserts, getting very low precipitation. However, the North Pole gets more precipitation. Wait a second, how can an ocean be a desert? Look, a desert just means a part of the Earth that gets low precipitation. The North and South Poles are in polar deserts. Due to harsh conditions, humans only started to attempt to go to both poles beginning in the 1900s. They got to the North Pole before the South Pole. Well, actually, maybe not? Okay, remember this dude who I mentioned earlier, Roald Amundsen? Well, this freaking guy was the first human being to ever get to the South Pole. Oh, and the first human to ever reach the North Pole. Hold up, say what? Well, let me add a caveat here. Both the American explorer Frederick Cook and American Navy engineer Robert Peary claimed to have reached the North Pole before Amundsen, but the evidence is shaky regarding whether or not both actually made it to the North Pole. So yeah, that's why I say Amundsen, along with his American sponsor Lincoln Ellsworth, was the first one who led a consistent, verified, and scientifically persuasive trip there on May 12, 1926, which was 14 and a half years after he first reached the South Pole. Man, Amundsen, way to dominate the poles. But anyway, you might be surprised to hear that lots of people have been to the North Pole and South Pole since then. Though I couldn't find exact numbers on this, according to my own estimates, thousands, if not tens of thousands, have been to the South Pole, and likely hundreds of thousands have been to the North Pole. Although I will say it can be hard for people to tell if they're actually at the North Pole or not. Nowadays, people know they are there thanks to GPS, but before GPS, it was difficult since there is no permanent marker, since it's all ice, and sometimes it's shifting ice. Oh, okay, so do you want to go to the North Pole? Better have lots of money. A cruise can take you there for around $30,000, although I found one for as cheap as $20,000, and according to one cruise line, a quote luxury 16-day voyage there is going to cost you up to around $37,000. You can fly there or near there for much cheaper. For more money, you can fly there by helicopter. You can go by dog sled. Seriously. And some people still, believe it or not, just put on their skis and trek up there by foot. That said, less than 50 people have done this without any outside support whatsoever. Also, due to temperatures dramatically rising at the poles in recent years, the trek has become increasingly dangerous due to melting and shifting ice on the Arctic Ocean. What about the South Pole? Well, it's even going to be more expensive. You can fly there, but it will cost you at least $50,000. And strangely, if you want to spend even more money, you can travel there by foot. Yeah, here's a dude who apparently paid more than $64,000 to trek there on skis. Dang, people are crazy. But remember, people can actually live at the South Pole. Thousands have actually lived there. 1,604 people have spent entire winters there. One dude has apparently spent 15 winters there. The North Pole is not in a time zone since no one lives there. The South Pole is unofficially in the New Zealand time zone since that's where planes fly fly in from. But yeah, at the North Pole, it is whatever time you want it to be. Because of the movement of the ice at the South Pole, each year they have to move the mark where it's actually at. This pole here is actually some 300 meters away from the actual South Pole, but it sure does make a great photo op if you can make it there. There are at least 6 places in the world named North Pole, and I've been to one of them, the one in Alaska. Why is the North Pole a popular place name? Because many believe that Santa Claus lives at the North Pole. I don't know if this is true or not, but wouldn't it be safer for Santa and his elves to move to the South Pole? I'm just saying.
Very softly. Remember, if you raise your voice, you'll be back in the hospital in 10 minutes.
How about this, like this?
Perfect. Good. Stop playing doctor with yourself. Yeah, let me take a look.
Earth is flat, flat, flat.
Pow, ping, pong.
Where did you go?
its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision.
Into the soft light of this Florida dawn emerges Friendship 7, making its debut to the day of its destiny. As pilot over half of his 40 years, has flown in 2 wars, and is a veteran test pilot who 5 years earlier established a transcontinental flight record as the first man to average supersonic speeds across America. He volunteered for spaceflight, is one of 7 astronauts selected for Project Mercury, the man in space program directed by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Never in all of history have so many people shared an adventure of such magnitude. The time nears, and soon, this Earth Path indicator in the capsule will begin showing John Glenn his changing positions above the world.
Status check, pressurization. Locks tanking. Have a blinking high level light. You are go. Water systems. Go. Range operations. Mercury capsule. Go. All pre-start panel lights are correct. The ready light is on. Eject Mercury umbilical. Oil evacuate. Mercury umbilical clear. Mercury evacuate. Lights on. All recorders too fast. T-minus 18 seconds. 70 seconds, leaving a nice vapor trail now. Looks real fine. Cape is go. We're standing by for you. Roger. Cape is go, and I am go. Our capsule is in good shape. All systems are go. Roger. 20 seconds to Seco.
Seco. Sustainer engine cutoff. The moment when the final Atlas engine will shut down. When Friendship 7 should separate from the booster rocket and begin orbital flight.
Oh, that view is tremendous.
To John Glenn, now belongs an awesome panorama. The world curving beneath him, just as it was filmed from an earlier Mercury capsule.
Roger, 7. You have a go. At least 7 orbits. Roger. Understand go for at least 7 orbits. The Friendship 7 can see clear back a big cloud pattern way back across toward the Cape. Beautiful sight.
Hello, I'm Colonel Mike Fink from the United States Air Force. I work at NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
An empty, dead, silent
They have just been on the moon. They are the first human beings to have ever visited another celestial body and to have safely returned from it. On the recovery ship, they are welcomed by President Nixon in person. After a brief exchange in front of the cameras, Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins are placed in quarantine for a few weeks of isolation. Then, on September 16, they appear for a press conference in front of the global members of the press, who welcome them with a standing ovation. But their faces appear somber, tense, somehow preoccupied instead. They seem uncomfortable, and there are several truly embarrassing moments during the event. When the 3 astronauts are asked the meaning of a mission that has brought mankind on another celestial body for the first time, the 3 don't seem too eager nor too enthusiastic about answering the question.
Many of us and many other people in many places have speculated on the meaning of this first landing on another body in space. Would each of you give us your estimate of what is the meaning of this to all of us?
And when Armstrong describes their achievement as the beginning of a new era, he seems more like a person forced to read from a script than someone actually convinced of his own words.
The entire program, it's a beginning of a new age.
Possibly the most embarrassing moment of all comes when the famous astronomer and journalist Sir Patrick Moore asks the astronauts whether they could see stars from the moon.
When you looked up at the sky, could you actually see the stars and the solar corona in spite of the glare?
But not one of them, surprisingly, remembers having seen a single star by the naked eye.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics.
Even Collins, who was left orbiting the moon while the other 2 descended on the surface, does not remember seeing a single star.
I don't remember seeing any.
We're going to do a song hits. How'd you like it hit? This was a small hit.
It is Photoshop, but it's
My deductive
deconstruction of the wicked, all inclusive but explosive's what you get when I'm tripping and I'm still ticking. Masons can't trip with Mr. Twisted, picture me wig. Turn the trick and now the whole herd on my list is shitty, powerful, the merciful. I fight for all my rights, I'm never tired, just a shining star, rising really fast, and now I'm wide, Masons. I got half a mind to slap yours. Bring your hostility when you come for me, cause I win wars. No hesitation when I throw them blast, cause truth above them. So now I shook the law off me, my bag's packed and I'm freezing through the cold to forget the phonies. Now we slowly migrate to where we all came from, cause we're flying, that's a fact. Hyper boy, here we come.
Okay, my bags are packed. You know we waited so long. We'll fly and that's a fact. Hyperborea, here we come. It's time to adapt. You know we've risen so strong. We'll fly and that's a fact. Hyperborea, here we go.
When I woke up from this dream, I prayed and thanked the Lord for showing me the only truthful way. I wanna be a righteous man, but still when the devil comes for me, all I can see is getting him killed for real. That's how I feel. Reflect my rhymes rolling on these reels, make the Masons all deal with my steel. They grave sealed. We were fooled, but they made themselves. Give them the noose and make a pan. No, much of die from heaven. God's calling shots, nobody's real. They NPCs walking dead in the scripted realities. Burning globes get disposed of. We all truthers to the death, so my flat brothers show me love. God forgave us from the exile, we got the job done, so we'll fly and that's a fact. Hyperborea, here we come.
Okay, my bags are packed. You know we waited so long. We'll fly and that's a fact. Hyperborea, here we come. It's time to adapt. You know we've risen so strong. We'll fly and that's a fact.
Everyone, Hyperborea, here we come.
Okay, my bags are packed. You know we waited so long. We'll fly and that's a fact. Hyperborea, here we come. It's time to adapt. You know we've risen so strong. We'll fly and that's a fact. Hyperborea, here we come.
This test campaign has spanned over 3.5 years.
First, 50,000 U.S. high school students and their professional mentors.
For their participation.
It pushes us to a whole new level. It's going to make us think outside the box more.
I think it's amazing. I think every year it gets harder and it challenges the students more and more.
About learning to work with others in a team environment in the spirit of cooperation.
They're all expected to work together and help each other find.
And not really getting mad at each other for anything.
It's high energy here in Cleveland, Ohio. Over 100 high school students received their assignment, robot, in only 6 weeks, March 22nd through 24th at the Wolstein Center in Cleveland, Ohio.
Really the whole purpose is to get kids and other ages involved and inspired to do science.
Be a rocket scientist or something like that. If you like working hard and trying new things.
Don't be intimidated.
12 high school student teams from Alabama and Tennessee received materials for building their robots, a control system, a small personal computer, and a mix of automation components. But no instructions. Within 6 weeks. Place in March.
To one of the very best places to work.
Representatives of the Partnership for Public Service, Jemison, had a Hollywood delegation on a visit to the Johnson Space Center. Actors Terrence Howard, Nate Parker, and David Oyelowo were accompanied by director Anthony Hemingway. 6 years ago, on January 15th, 2006, its 2.9 billion mile round-trip journey
kickoff at Calhoun Community College in Decatur, Alabama.
Give me an E! A W! What have we got?
Science is such an abstract study. Naming something makes it real.
various water landing scenarios.
Did you know that? Now, if you put a hot dog in a flashlight, nothing happens.
Hey Bill, can you prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the Earth is a sphere and not flat? Because I have a lot of Facebook friends who say that it's flat, and I just can't convince them. Thank you.
Is the Earth flat or round? Okay, now let's see. How do we go about proving that? By magic, by science. How do we go
It is
about
photoshopped,
proving that?
but it's
look at
it's
pictures from space.
It is photoshopped, but it's
where you see the Earth as a sphere.
Has to be.
Those pictures are not fake.
Those pictures are not fake.
As the default background on the iPhone.
I didn't even know, imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space, but I've looked at these images over and over again, trying to sort of get the essence of it.
And if you want to get into it, the Earth isn't quite a sphere. It's a little bleh. Its spin is a little bleh, stretched it, made it slightly oblate, as the saying goes. Slightly oblate. Those pictures are not fake, slightly oblate. They're not fake, slightly oblate, as the saying goes. Those pictures are not faked. And I'll tell you, just if nothing else, here's why you can tell they're not faked. Just to create the paperwork that NASA has created, for NASA in this one case, just the paperwork to send anything out in space, to send people into orbit or to send them to the moon, that amount of paperwork would make faking it prohibitively expensive. No one could afford to generate that much documentation.
No one could afford to generate that much documentation.
Dudette, there are pictures from space of the Earth. What is wrong with you?
It just didn't look realistic. It looks kind of flat. It is photoshopped, but it's flat.
Stay local and do not congregate. Don't talk to your neighbours. Please keep to your bubbles. It comes down again to those very simple principles. We know from overseas cases of the Delta variant that it can be spread by people simply walking past one another. So keep those movements outside to the bare minimum, wear a mask, and make sure you keep up that physical distancing.
Fox is 6. 6 is news.
That stuff is flat.
Fox is 6. 6 is news.
Fun fact. A top secret government-made vaccine and it cures religious fundamentalism.
Sounds like I'll be
Welcome this new trip to offer fun presentation and any genuine accusatory charges instrument for my inspection. The fun people scream, I'm not the priority security and order having a priority security agency providing a big question not genuine. I'm a rebel. 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 Shout out to Lady Ganja. I've been doing it so long. Everybody knows she's alright hit me up, you know.
Hi, funny dancer.
I'm glad you to see me, I guarantee. Hi, y'all are. I'm glad for you to see me, I guarantee. Hi, y'all are. I'm glad for you to see me, I guarantee. Hi, y'all are. I'm glad for you to see me, I guarantee. Too, I guarantee. Yes, whoo, I guarantee it. Now. Get that. A layer of onion, sliced 10. But whoo, will I get through with this? I guarantee. Whoo, I guarantee that's pretty, huh? Whoo. No, I say I guarantee this. I guarantee that is. But I guarantee I saw. Whoo, whoo. I done been. I guarantee. I guarantee. Whoo. Double guarantee that too. Guarantee. I guarantee. I guarantee I do. Good, I guarantee. Guarantee. When we take it out of there, I guarantee. Got my sciences open real bad. I guarantee. I guarantee. I guarantee. I guarantee. Whoo, boy. I guarantee. I guarantee. Ooh, we cook. Ooh-wee. That's beautiful, I guarantee. We can take this over here. Ooh, I guarantee. Now, we gonna broke them bread, I guarantee. That's fine. I guarantee. Guarantee. Hoo-hoo, boy. Need on sauce at all? No. I guarantee. Lemon and the onion and the... I guarantee. Woo! We play, I guarantee.
You can clap your hands, it's all right. I think you got it now. Wash away my trouble, wash away my pain with the rain and Shambhala. Wash away my sorrow, wash away my shame with the rain and Shambhala. How does your light shine in the home of Shambhala?
There's no place to go.
I challenge your history again. There is absolutely
The Earth is flat. There are a group of people that absolutely and honestly believe the Earth is flat. The Earth is flat.
You know, one thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth. There's no place to go.
The Earth is flat.
"100 proofs that the Earth is not a globe."
Did he just say quit jumping on my balls?
Yeah. Quit jumping on my balls.